Iowa for school, and she was working, so glad she could join us today.
Welcome, Ellie. Thanks for joining.
Thank you all for having me.
Harold over here is Sarah Tucker. She helped set this up.
Oh,
So
well, nice.
Make sure that you were part of this.
Hi, Harold. We're glad to have you.
Thank you. Pleased to meet you.
You can see Elizabeth has a friend.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this is Maddie, and then Beckett is hiding behind the door.
Just about to say, I see another one peeking out over there, thinking about saying hi.
Thinking about it. She's kind of the bully, though, so it's like, okay, if I go in here, then nobody will mess with me.
So I guess that's Beckett is looking for Godot. Beckett is looking for Godot. Is that right?
Actually, you know what? The group that we rescued him from named him. And after we met him and saw his little personality, we just couldn't bring ourselves to change the name. So it stuck.
Michael, we have other guests.
Let's see. They're coming in so quick, it's hard for me to keep up who's here. Ooh.
Carol, I think, is one of the people that just signed on.
Carol, welcome. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. I didn't know all this would be this way. I didn't even a chance to get a look at my son.
Yeah, Harold's son is on here too. Toby Wilson's up there in the corner.
Ah.
And your daughter's supposed to be on here too. I told her, unless she's working.
Well, she works. My son got the Guillain-Barré syndrome in a wheelchair. My daughter's working,
So,
So since our topic's running today, when's the last time everybody went for a run?
this morning, 5 miles.
How are we defining run?
Let's say, does a short jog on a treadmill count?
Yeah.
Absolutely. That completely counts.
If you see me running, you should run because something is chasing me.
Thursday, 3 miles. It was on the treadmill, so it's too hot to go outside.
I think mine was Thursday too, but technically I power walk at the gym, but it's still treadmill.
Saturday was a 4 miler.
There's Christy Cooper.
I'm planning on 5 after the meeting. I may do something crazy. There's a half marathon in a month that I may attempt to try and not die in, considering I'm not in that shape right now. But I think if I really work hard, I could maybe survive. Maybe.
Sounds like you might get some inspiration for that tonight.
That's what I'm hoping happens for me too.
Does a pickup game on Saturday against fans from Canada count?
Does. Hello, Ellie. Ellie, this is Harold Wilson. Yes, speaker. This is Christy Cooper over here. Christy Cooper.
Yeah.
My friend. She's an attorney here in Tyler.
Pleased to meet you. You a runner?
Christy's asking if you're a runner. Christy is silent. Michael, go ahead and get us rolling anytime you want.
Yeah, I'll just wait another 2-3 minutes for people to stragglers to get joined in, and then we'll get right into it. We'll just have a couple of announcements today.
Okay.
And then we'll pass it over to you, Wes, to do the intro.
Delane. This is Delane Miley. Harold. Harold Wilson.
Hi, Harold. Thanks for joining us. Y'all are keeping me busy today. There's so many people on. I'm like frantically trying to make sure I get everyone on my attendance log over here. So if you see me going back and forth, it's because I'm going between monitors trying to see. Because my count is at 18, but I've got 21 on here, so I missed someone.
Uh-oh. Well, before we get started, since we do have a lot of guests, and I'll drop it again in case some other people join us, but I'm putting a link in the chat right now. It's our prospective member form. If you like what you hear today and you're interested in learning more about what our club does or who we are, or some of our values and what we're all about, feel free to fill that out, and I'll reach out to you and we can talk a little bit more about what this club does.
Welcome, Pam Richards. I see Pam Richards. Where are you from, Pam? She's on mute. Ellie, did you mention Canada? Are you calling from Canada?
No, I was in Nashville for the U.S. men's soccer game over the weekend, and we were playing Canada, so we organized a pickup game against their supporters.
Outstanding. Wow.
Fun.
The score was better than the actual men's game was.
I mean, soccer is basically just a lot of running. There just happens to also be a ball involved, right? I mean,
sprinting, lots of sprinting.
I was never good at it.
All right. So I think we gave everybody enough time to get in here. So we'll go ahead and get things rolling. But thank you all for joining us today for this special session here with Harold. We'll get to know a little bit more about him in a minute here. But first off, starting with some announcements. Remember, our service project will be wrapping up here at the end of the month. So if you haven't gone and gotten your sacks, your paper sacks, go ahead, pick up 100 pack of those and put your family to work and get those decorated so we can send those to our group down in Houston. That information will go out again with the newsletter. And that is the main one I have. Let's see, MFA, you had a couple of things you wanted to say, I believe.
Yes, please join the Public Relations Committee. I'm still open to any members who are willing to help me out with social media on Facebook and or Instagram.
Are you looking for any particular skill sets there or just willingness to be involved?
Willingness. That'd be awesome.
All right. And Elizabeth, you pretty much said what you had to say, or did you have some more to add?
Yeah, so I don't think we've had anybody add since I put that link in our chat. That is our prospective member form. So if those of you that are visiting us, if you would like to hear more about what we're all about, feel free to fill that out. For our current members, I'm also putting in a link to a interest form. So MFA mentioned the Public Relations Committee. I have a couple of committees that I'm putting together for membership. So I'd love for you, and you have a chance to go in and fill that out, indicate any interest that you might have in those committees. There's also a place for indicating interest in some smaller group conversations. That's one of the things that the board has talked about as a way to connect members and get talking about specific topics of interest, whether it's exercise and running or whatever it is that the groups are interested in. So if that's something that sounds appealing to you, there's also a place on that form to indicate interest in that. So if you would fill that out at your earliest convenience, I would appreciate it.
Awesome, thank you. And Sarah, did you have anything as far as?
Yeah. I just wanted to share with you guys that our next meeting on September 21st, we will have the district governor, Mike Groom, come visit us and speak to us about our district. This is a really important meeting. Tell your friends that are members to join this meeting. Our district governor only really comes to visit once a year, and it's a really great time for us to connect with our district, to hear about what our district is doing, and to share with our district governor what we are doing. So highly encourage you all to attend this one. And that is all I have. Thank you.
All right, awesome. And anybody else from the board, did y'all have anything else? Awesome. All right, well, once again, thank you all of our guests who joined in with us today. We're really excited to have Harold here. I'm going to go ahead and pass over to Wes so that he can introduce Harold and kind of get everything set up on the presentation side there.
That's great. I'm going to do a little different. Let me introduce our speaker this way.
Yeah,
This is 2012 Houston Marathon.
So let me get you on camera here. Tell me what's your goal here for today? What are you planning to do? 420. Okay. All right. I mean, you're gonna do 420 and you feel up to it. Feel good. That was a moment on there. Yeah. All right. Okay. And then once you do your 420, what's the reason? What are you gonna do 420 for? 80 years old. It's gonna do world record. Oh, world record. Okay. All right. Well, let's go get him.
Can you see that?
We can see a list of your
Oh, okay.
movies.
I've got, let's see here. Let me get rid of that. Then let's go down here.
And we are welcoming the U.S. Marine Corps Color Guard at the start line.
This is what you get with amateur labor.
There we are.
Okay, we're at almost mile 11. How you feeling?
Oh, okay, come on. Joint it. Got some pain. Go through it, so it don't get to work.
Okay. Well, you're on pace. You got a good pace. We're about 9:15, 9:30 pace, somewhere in that range. Okay.
I'll be happy with 9:15 all the way without it.
Okay, we're gonna do it. Okay, we're at mile 17 and between 17 and 18. How you feeling so far?
Oh, joint's about to kill me, but oh no, I'm all right.
Well, you're talking too much, so you must not be running fast enough. So let's get going. Okay, Harold. Mile 25. You busted your hand. How'd you bust your hand?
Oh, I felt like I'm gonna went out of me.
Okay. You still moving? You feeling okay? Pain everywhere? Okay. We're gonna push it in.
Yeah, I'm not making that.
You're on a qualifying time.
Oh, yeah.
All right, Harold. Congratulations. Congratulations. Once again, you have to bleed in order to succeed.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
You really wanted something to remember this race by, huh?
Yeah, it's not a race unless he bleeds.
You're gonna walk down? Well, we've got a medical area too. We've got yeah, guys.
Let me pull up my PowerPoint. Here we go. Oops. There we go. Okay. Outstanding. Okay, now, can you hear me okay, guys?
Yep.
Okay. You should see the PowerPoint, right?
Yep.
Okay, great. Let me introduce you, Rotarians, to my dear friend, Harold Wilson. The videos you saw where we ran the I guess it was 2012 Houston Marathon in order for him to get a qualifying time to go back to Boston. And Harold lives here in Tyler, and he's going to talk with you about really just exactly what I said in our, our intro. He's going to talk to you about how to win goals. What is it that motivates a person? You'll learn that I'm sure you already have. Some people lose their motivation early in life. Some people get it later in life. But that's really what distinguishes success from non-success, is the desire, goal setting, objectives, pushing through it, determination, a plan, and winning. So he's going to talk about that. What I'd like you to do, you can type your questions in the chat as you go through, and I'll read your questions. But let me begin by introducing Harold. Harold was born 1 month after the Herbert Hoover administration. Franklin Roosevelt had just been elected when he was born, and he's completed how many marathons have you run, Harold?
Approximately 18 total.
18. Okay. All right. How many half marathons?
That's 2.
Oh, that's 2. All right. Well, that's not as many as I thought. Okay. How many Boston marathons have you run?
12.
Well, okay. All right. Well, let me just I'll just keep rolling and go on through them. Harold has won. He's going to tell you this and show you some pictures. He has won the Boston Marathon 5 times in the over 70 and over 80 categories. He has placed twice in the over 70 category. And so at 88, he is 10 years past the average American man's lifespan. He's 10 years past the average American's lifespan. So sorry about that, Harold. I'm not trying to jinx you. He's physically fit, and we run most Sunday mornings. Lives here in Tyler. He's a Navy man. He served his country in Korea in the 1950s. And lost most of his hearing, some in the Navy, some working. He's married to his lovely wife, Anna Faye. They've been married north of 60 years. How many years have you been married?
This 13 days will be 65 years.
65 years, okay. All right. Do I hear any clapping? I don't hear any clapping. 65 years, okay. They have 3 children, one of whom is on the call. They have 3 children, one passed away in a tragic accident, so they have 2 children. Harold, let's talk now for a bit. Where'd you grow up?
In the country out in Summit, Mississippi.
In Mississippi, okay. Well,
in the country on a farm.
In a farm, okay. Was it a rich farm? Were you a rich kid?
No. I don't say I was poor, but I sure wasn't rich.
Okay. And let me tell you, what was like growing up on the farm? What was that like for you?
Well, I wasn't much in the books. My brother and sisters made a lot better grades than I did, but I was an outside boy. And I was on the go from the time I got up the cow till I went to bed. And working and going to school and running off from home, see my friends, and then I would stay a little too long. I knew I had to get back and do what my dad had told me to do before he left. He worked helper in the railroad, and I just run. And I went to school, in the country school, and we played basketball. Didn't have much track, didn't have football. They had took the whole high school, they had basketball. And the first few years was on clay court. And played barefooted, didn't have tennis shoes, Nikes, and all
Wait, say that again. I don't want anybody to miss that last point. You did what, barefooted?
Played basketball.
Basketball barefooted, okay.
Clay foot.
I see, okay.
Finally, the last year or two, they got a gym there, and I tried it. But a hardwood floor, you can't do it barefooted. Peel the side off. But anyway, I didn't have shoes, but my good friend gave me some shoes that it was too small for him, too small for me too, but I split the big toe and wore them anyway. But anyway, my dad would have us come to home at lunch for during basketball season. gather the crop. But I wanted to play, and we were about 3/4 of a mile from school. I run back up there on a gravel road, barefooted, and play baseball, run back home, and work like the devil to get what he wanted done. And when I'm getting at, I've done a lot of running, a lot of work. It's a lot of learning how to work on the farm. And my mother died when I was 7, and I had a stepmother, and you didn't go in her kitchen. It's just any time to get food. But all this work and running I'm doing, I'm hungry all the time. So I'm out. And we didn't have this insecticides and what have you. It was kind of fruit and wild muscadine and blackberries and cinnamon and eating raw sweet potatoes and peanuts and just what I just starved to death, I thought, you know. I think all that running and all that good natural food raw built my strong heart and lungs. And this school I went to, like I told you, didn't have a football or track, so I had no coaching. And then I went in the service, came out, got married, had 3 children, and I thought I had to work 2 jobs, part-time, I'm working full-time, and when my family had more than what I thought I had a good time, but I didn't think at the time. But anyway, after my children got old enough and left home, my daughter went to college, and anyway, I didn't have to work 2 jobs, and I began to get more sleep, and I began to gain weight. Doctor told me, lose some weight,
Okay, now
get off the sweets.
Let me interrupt there. Okay, what age were you when you had this conversation with your doctor? How old were you?
I'm about, I don't know, I was in my 50s, I think 50. Well, I started running when I was 54. I guess it was around about 52 and first 53. And the doctor told me to lose some weight.
Because you were fat.
Yeah, I tell them I had 200 pounds, but actually I got up to 198.
Got up to 198 pounds. Yeah, that's pretty bad. And so, but I wanted Elizabeth to hear that you didn't start running until you were 54, right?
I was 54 years old when I got serious, and a friend invited me to El Rey, Arkansas, in a 5K, and I said, well, I'll give it a try.
So your doctor told you to lose weight, and you actually believed your doctor?
Yeah, sure, yeah. Well, I knew I was overweight, you know, short of the breath and whatever.
Okay, so you started running, and tell me that. Tell the group about that. How did you started with a race, and what'd you do? Did you keep running?
Oh yeah, after I ran that race and met a lot of the nicest people I ever met in my life, they're all runners and nice people to me. And you know, and you talk, go over the race after the race, and nobody ever does what they think they should have, but you know, but anyway, I'd ask a lot of questions and read a lot. And like I said, I didn't have a coach, and I just kind of trained myself.
Did you lose weight?
I want to say though, you know, I'm not taking all the credit. I had help influence of my family supporting me and my friends, but the point I'm getting at, I didn't have a coaching, and haven't had one yet. And when I've done, family and friends support, and I run 10 years or 12 years before I ever run a marathon. And
what was your first marathon?
It was Austin, Texas. I believe it. Oval, I believe it was.
Okay.
For that year, but anyway.
How old were you when you ran your first marathon?
68.
68. Okay. All right. Okay, Andrew, write that down. Andrew, how much weight did you lose when you started running at 54?
Oh, I dropped 20. Well, over a period of a year, you know, I dropped down 40 to 50 pounds. You know?
40 to 50 pounds. Yeah. Okay. All right.
I on average, I was holding around about, at that time, I was pretty muscular. I was holding around 150. But when I ran the Boston Marathon, I weighed 140. But I was on average 150.
Okay. So let's talk about the marathons for a second here. I'm going to switch screens here. Okay. So you ran the Boston Marathon, and this picture is in 2015. What are we seeing here? You ran in 2013. We'll get to that in a second. 2013 when you were 80. 2014 when you were 81. 2015, this one 82 years old.
Yeah.
82. Okay,
Right.
you were 82 in 2015. You ran it in 4 hours, 18 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Who are these pictures?
This man was at the 2013 when the bomb went off, and he was a couple years younger than me, but he was right there at the finish line. And I'm sure people seen that. And the concussion blew the muscle completely off his bone. Well, he come back in that year. We're gonna run.
That was your competitor.
Yeah, that year. Yeah.
Did you beat him?
Oh yeah, yeah. I won it that year.
Okay. What's this picture on the right?
I believe that's at the auditorium where they were giving out the trophies.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where it is.
Okay.
Yeah. That's the ramp to go up on the
Yeah.
stage.
Okay. That's the Copley Hotel in Boston.
Yes.
Okay. For those of you who don't know, this is the Copley Hotel, very prestigious hotel, ornate. And in the ballroom, a few minutes, not very long, maybe an hour and a half after the marathon, the BAA, the Boston Athletic Association, awards the winners. And so they begin with the oldest and go down to the elite runners. And on the other side of Harold in this picture, you'll see the elite runners all cheering for this 82-year-old man who just ran 4 hours, 18 minutes in the same race they did.
Hey, Wes, I don't think seeing when you switch between pictures there.
Yeah. What about
it's still on the first one, the intro slide.
Okay. Let me do it this way. Can you see it now?
Oh yeah, that's better for
Okay.
sure.
This is. I'm glad you're interrupting. I'll do it this way. So there's the guy in the. It was on Sports Illustrated. If you did see that, a few other magazines too. He was national news, and that's the Copley Hotel on the right. And okay, and this again. This is a 2014 race.
Yeah.
Okay, you were 81 years old.
Well, yeah.
3 hours, 58 minutes, 55 seconds, sub 4 hour marathon at 81 years old, 9 minutes, 7 seconds per mile.
Yeah, I guess that's right.
Yeah. Okay. Who's this in the picture here? You remember?
He was one of the fish, handing the trophy. I don't know. I can't remember his name.
Okay. And 2013 is the bombing race. 3 hours, 53 minutes, 54 seconds, sub 9 minute fastest marathon by an American, Boston record. So tell them about that. What happened? Tell them about the Boston race. The bomb went off. What happened?
Oh, when the bomb went off?
Yeah, well, I mean, you started. Did you were you using a watch, a stopwatch on your wrist?
No, I never did use a stopwatch on the race. I run the way I felt, and I never did try to get my, what do you call it? Didn't think of the word now, but anyway.
Pace.
Your pace?
Pace, and well, I wanted my pace, but I'm talking about my I can't think of what I'm trying to say. But anyway, what I done, beforehand, I said, I won't break 4 hours. All right? I said, 4 hours is approximately 3 hours and 56 minutes, I believe. I mean, for a 9 minute pace. I said, I tried about a 9 minute pace. All right? I run the 9 minute pace best I could to mile 10. And I see when I was left at 10:30, I said, 10 miles, an hour and a half. All right, I should be 10 miles at 12 o'clock. Right? I looked at that. Well, I'm about 5 minutes above what I thought. I believe I'd try to hold it. I said, I'd try to hold it until I knew I was going to get the four hills. But Heartbreak Hill is the worst one, you know. And that's about the mile 17. I'm going to hold the can because I know I'm going to lose going up a Heartbreak Hill or what have you. But it's kind of a downhill and flat, not all the way, but it's mostly downhill from mile 20 to finish. I said I can make it up what I lose, and that's hit the 20 mile, and I was behind. But I said, now's the time. Take a deep breath and drink of water. Try to run. I was done got slumped shouldered running up Heartbreak Hill. Hold my head up and let my jaws hang and relax and just turn it loose. And that's what I done. And when I got to mile 25, mile 2/10 to go, I kind of psyched myself out. I can't remember myself. I can remember the crowd, man. The crowd gets great closer you get. I said, just keep digging. And I stayed with it. And then when I turned that last turn, about a quarter mile to go, I threw my head back and just done everything I could. And I wound up with a 6 minutes and 6 seconds on the 40. If you remember, you and John Kemp was with me and they asked me before the race, what was I going to do? And I said, I'm going to try to break 4 hours. And that's what I've done. I've done it for 6 minutes.
Okay.
And I did not know my time, and your wife was on. I'm just psyched out. I didn't know. Well, they wouldn't have made a difference. They start the time clock at the beginning and the end for the elite, and they don't change that. So I had to keep up in mind.
Yeah. So you crossed the finish line,
and you were there and telling me you were talking on your wife following me on the smartphone or whatever, and knew my time, and you told me right away. We got there, and they gave me a banana and water, and I was getting cool high buildings there, and sweated. Put on some clothes, but I couldn't get my pants over my shoes. I sit down and pull my shoes off. When I was sitting there, that first bomb went off. Ball of smoke, in 10 seconds, it went off again. And I said, some kind of celebration. You did? And I said, no, kind of a loud noise for celebration. But anyway, and about that time, if you've ever watched a fear movie on TV or something, people's eyes just running away. Well, we knew, and you already knew then. Your wife told you she was on the phone. They say their camera was all like the race. They was on it right away and telling people all over America what happened. And you and I knew what happened, and we began to walk. They had shut down the subway and walked toward our hotel. And you can tell them what you want to, but in my age, I had enlarged prostates. I had to use the bathroom, and what we done for me to use the bathroom, but we walked back to the hotel. And, it was an experience.
Well, a couple of points here for our audience. For those of you who run, most runners wear a stopwatch. Running without a stopwatch, wearing an analog watch, running a marathon and trying to keep splits on a race, that's incredible. He was running entirely.
I'm concentrating, and I said the 20 miles at the 9-minute pace is 3 hours. I said I'm trying for that. Well, I done lost a little bit, and I got 20 going up Hellback Hill, but then I knew I could make it back up the last 6. Sorry, I interrupted. Go ahead.
No, it's your show. It's your show. Tell me this: the marathon starts in Hopkinton,
right?
Okay, and goes where? How does it? What's the course like?
Oh, it's a course of a little bit of everything. You got downhill, uphill. They say the overall elevation drop is around 500 foot from Hopkinton to the finish line. But you got hills, not great ones, but all the way flat hill, downhill. That first mile is really downhill, but you can't use it much. I couldn't because of the crowd. You just can't run fast with the crowd, Well, you can, but you're going in and out and sideways. You're not going ahead,
And you also won in 2005. That was your first win, right?
I believe that's right. Yeah, the first place. Yeah.
Which one is the trophy here? You got one of the trophies?
Yeah, that's the first place. That's the first
oh my! Oh. Okay.
That's heavy, isn't it?
Yeah, that's heavy. Okay, that's the first place trophy.
Yeah, that's 2005.
Yeah.
You might hold that up there. They
can see it. And what is this right here?
That's the first place. What year was that? That's 2014.
Okay.
I got 3 of those, and 2 of those, and 2 of those. It's the second place.
Okay. All right, and oops, got my paper. Here we go. Now, oops, I was going to this was the 2005 Boston Marathon. Do you remember this? This is
yeah.
You remember the one where you fell?
Yeah.
What happened?
It was a man, he didn't cut in front of me, he cut right directly behind me. His foot caught my left foot, when it was back. Well, when he caught my foot, I didn't have no way to bring that foot forward. I didn't have no way to go but just down. I went down and I hit the ground, blacktop. Here's a scar, shoulder, elbow, knee. I was bleeding pretty good, and the little paxi, I had some goo, we called it. The goo had hit one packet of goo and goo went out, goo, I'm trying to say. It's sticky, like honey,
What mile was that?
That's right before the half, because at the half, and I know because at the half, they have a first aid tent.
Yeah.
So I ran in there and they begin to put Band-Aids on me and want to be sure I was okay and want me to stay there, and you okay? I understand the reason, be sure I was okay, but I knew I was okay. Thought I was anyway, and I was. And they kept fooling around, wanting me to sit there. I said, lady, I got to run this race. Goodbye. And I got up and left.
Okay, and ran another 13 miles.
Yeah.
Okay. That was 2006 where you won. In 2006. And 8 and 9. 8 and 9, I guess you won those. I guess so. You were I think you were second place, but you were over.
Yeah, I got 2 second places in my 7, then I got 2 in my 7 as the first place, and then I got 3 in my 80s.
Well, I think you were competing as a 75-year-old against those young punks who had just turned 70. Yeah. No, that's terribly unfair.
One race up there, they had a Japanese that had won the overall marathon in 1952. And they had him back up there then, too. Just volunteered to let him run the race. He was my age, or older, but he was able to get on the starting line. Up there, you in the corral, they call it. And they let 2,000 or so in the corral, and then, well, at that time, they were just strictly by gun. They didn't have chips. But anyway, he got the first place that year, but he started on the starting line with me about 15 minutes getting the starting line, but going by the gun, and I would have won him. If it have been started with it. But anyway, that's beside the point.
All right, you won the half marathon, the Houston half marathon, the over 70 category.
Yeah.
137.
I was 75 years old.
75 years old. 137. And you won that, and it's still, as far as we know, it's still the record, right?
Well, I know it is. Last time I don't have a computer. Nobody believe that. I don't have a smartphone.
Okay. I'm going to get to the questions here, so I'm going to speed up. You got 2001. You were state senior champion. 2001.
Yeah.
And that was that's the marathon we did. 4 hours 17 minutes. That's yours truly, company. And finished that. And so, fastest man over 80.
There's my 2 friends I went to Boston with. 13.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. So let me cut this out, and let me go back to and stop presenting. Yeah, there we go. All right, we're all back now. Okay, now let me see if I can go over here to the chat and see what questions we have. And okay. All right, we got Elizabeth. Okay, Elizabeth asked, he wants to know, what's your secret? Your secret sauce. She says, how many miles or how many hours do you run each week?
I've heard a lot of marathon runners say they try to put in 1 or 2 100-mile weeks. I never put more than 50.
50 miles was your maximum?
But I would run my 20 miles on Sundays. 3 or 4 20 miles, And well, sometimes I run 22 or 23, but I never more than 23. And I was bred, and I believe that you break your muscles down, but you got to give them a chance to rebuild. When they rebuild, they build back stronger, and that's what I'm gonna try to do. And I did that, and I didn't. like I told you, I grew up in the country barefooted, and I run down at Fulton Park on the grass on that hill down there. When I said I determined I'm gonna go down there and win that half marathon, and I went down there lots of times. And then there's a lot of times training for a marathon, getting up 4:30 and going out. It's cold. Boston's always in April, but you got to train in January and February. It's some cold weather. Yeah, that's just pure willpower, I guess you call it. You know, just determined.
Clayton wants to know, what is your diet to stay healthy in order to run so much? What's your diet like?
I expect I eat oatmeal 63 days a year.
Oatmeal is the secret. You wanted to know?
Well, that's
Elizabeth,
breakfast.
you wanted to know, and now you know. It's oatmeal. So,
Yeah, and then lunch, beans, brown rice, sweet potato.
Clayton, that's a law school diet. You'll be eating that. You'll be eating a lot of beans and oatmeal, because that's all you're going to be able to afford.
Primarily it. You know, I eat a few things. I'm a sweet lover. And when I was growing up, we didn't have sweet, but we made our own syrup. Every Thanksgiving Day, my dad was out at work. We were out of school. We made 50 to 55 gallons of ribbon cane syrup for this family. Eat a gallon a week. That lasted.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think of that gallon.
Well, write that-
homemade biscuit.
Write that down. Homemade biscuits and syrup.
Syrup
Okay.
with my sweets.
You never told me. I could have probably won Boston too, I think.
But anyway, I think of that gallon of that family eat. I eat half of it because if we didn't have biscuit, I ate cornbread and syrup. You know, that was my sweet.
All right. Well, let's see if we got some more questions. Fire away some questions for Harold Wilson. We've got crickets. I hear crickets.
Hey, Harold, my question was, what keeps you going and motivated on the times when it's not easy, when maybe you're tired or you really just don't want to get up? You know, what keeps you motivated?
Well, one thing, I have a little statement on the refrigerator. It says, it's not important to win, the most important is to be prepared. So I said, I got to prepare. So I go out and I'd run. Well, the statement is something like, to win is not as important as be prepared, you know, that's what you amount to. And that was kind of my motto. I read that in a Runner's World magazine, something, and I hung it on my refrigerator. Just excitement. I think every runner, if they can, should run Boston one time. That's the experience. I'm telling you, that's the experience. The crowd on the side of the streets make your hair stand up, you know. You had it, but anyway. I don't know. I said that's something I enjoyed, and it's breaking my heart right now because I can't run, but I have no cartilage in my knee. That's the result of it, I guess.
Elizabeth says she's too slow, but do you think anybody could run no matter how fast, how slow?
Yeah, you do some repeats to get a little speed, and I think hill running, you get a little bit of everything, and building muscle and the heart burned and what the hell. I mean, you do some hill running and repeats. I bought the Hal Higdon running book, How to Train for Marathon, and I kind of went by it, and he's got a pretty good outline. He's done a lot of running, and he told about how his he'd been checking lots of different places and knife and everything else, testing shoes and everything. He'd done a lot of running, and he said he had a man that was equal to him in every respect, but he'd always beat him because he didn't pick his feet up very high. And the other guy did. I said, well, I'm that type. I wear a heel out on my shoe real fast, but I don't pick them up. I can stumble real easy, but
Emma Faye wants to know whether running has had an effect on other aspects of your life or relationships. Has running affected other parts of your life or your relationships, and how so?
Well, and relationships with get along with people, or what the,
I think, for example, what about runners? Do you have a lot of running friends?
oh yeah, I have lots of running friends. You know, they always like I started out running when I was in Arkansas. You know, and the Watermelon Festival in Arkansas, I've been to almost every year for about 40 years, and went to it this year. I didn't do anything, but I come in second because the one man there was just turned 80 and I'm 88. He beat me. He said I've been trying 40 years to beat you and finally done it. You know, I know how to record it, but anyway, I'm bragging on myself, but I still go back and say I can't take all the credit. I had friends and family support, but I have a lot of friends up there, and I've been down here in Texas now since I retired. Good many years, and I get back up there this past month, and they all speak to me, and I said, well, I recognize your face, but can't recall your name. I'm sorry.
Well, Clayton wants to know who's faster, you or me, but I'll answer that. And the answer is I'm faster right now, but only because he's 88. He's got bad news. But when I first started running with him, I couldn't keep up, and I was in my late 40s, early 50s, late 40s, I guess, and I couldn't keep up with him. He was 20 years or more than 20 years older than I was. So muscle for muscle, he's the man. Let's see.
Well, I would like to say that I never have thought myself to be extremely fast. Always endurance, stamina. That's what I think pulled me through, and I think that what I was trying to say before, by growing up and diet I had built that strong heart and lung, and I had the stamina. I could stick with it. And I think that's what happened in Boston when I won when I was 80. I knew I was ahead of the game, but I lost a little of it going up Heartbreak Hill, but I said to myself, I've been there before, give it what you got. That race was the only race I've ever, when I got through, I said, well, I done my best. But all other races, I said, you know, I could have done better if I'd have done this or done that. But that one, I put my heart in to win it, and I just, and like I say, I was raised on a farm, and I know a little bit about farming, and I had to put this in because you can check this out. In 1982, Oak Watermelon Festival, I saw a 100-pound watermelon, and I said, well, I can do that. I bought some seed from the man and tried to pick his brain, what had done it. I went home, and I grew one bigger. But it didn't last long. The guy in Vicksburg, Oklahoma beat me, but anyway, I had it for 30 days.
Well, it's 7:55, so I believe 5 minutes left. So thank you very much, Harold, for speaking to the group. I know they enjoyed it. I'm sure let's all give them a big round.
Well, thank all of you. Like I said, it's friends like this. It's worthwhile. I'll tell you, I wasn't rich, but if you got friends, good, true friends, you're rich.
All right, we'll leave it at that.
I think I'd just like to echo what Pam said. Harold, I think you need to write a book, and I would love to read that book.
She said she thinks she should write a book.
Well, like I told you, I wasn't the best in school books, and I just, you know, I didn't go to college. I didn't have opportunity for one thing, and just didn't like it. But I spent for many miles running. I'd ride a bicycle and drive a road a mile and a half to swim in the river and come back hard as I could, work hard as I could, because my daddy's gonna get me if I didn't get it done. And I just, all that bringing up, I'm just telling you, I believe us is the beginning of it.
Thank you, Michael.
Yeah, thank you, Harold, so much for joining us, and Wes, thank you for helping get everything set up and coordinated here. it was an awesome program that we had today. So as always, we're going to go ahead and end with the 4-way test. Let me pop that up here.
I tell my son hello if you listen to him. Praying for you, son. He's in a wheelchair.
Kayo. You're
Yeah,
fine.
see that?
Yes.
All right. So if y'all want to come off mute real quick so we can say this together. The 4-way test of the things we think, say, and do. 1. Is it
the truth? Is it the truth?
2.
Is it
fair to all concerned?
3.
Will it
Will it build
build
goodwill and
Better
better friendships?
4.
Will
Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
All right. Well, thank you all for being here today to join this awesome meeting. I'll hang around for a little while longer. If anybody's got extra questions or anything about the club, or I don't know if Wes and Harold are going to hang out a little longer, but thank you all for being here, and we will see you in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I thank all of you. It's nice to meet all of you and for the opportunity to brag on myself.
We all thoroughly enjoyed it. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
You have
Thanks a lot.
absolutely earned the opportunity to brag on yourself.
All right.
Absolutely.
We must log off. Okay.
All right.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.